Okay. My name is Justin. This is AI for the masses, and we're doing another devlog. And this one's going to be unique in that this is going to be the first time we're going to attempt to create like a fight feature in the game. So for my game, The Story of Someone, I still haven't finished even the basic skeleton of the game. And one of the last major features that I need to add in order to make a game that is basically playable to by any means of the definition of a classic. This is a game that you'd actually progress through and feel sense of accomplishment and things. Is I haven't implemented the fighting yet. So I have basically three-ish creatures to choose from that I could add to a fight arena that would be like turn-based classic JRPG style fighting. I think I want to have the kind of turn-based fighting where there's a speed bar, like a loading bar to when a character can make a move. And hey Az, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, it's been a little while since I streamed, and we're going to be adding in the battle arena hopefully today. However, let me show. I forget how much of this I streamed already. I'm going to show what I accomplished. Let's see. Let's go to Google. Lately, oops. And that is, we actually have an inventory, and we can go shopping in the game now. It's very basic. And the pathfinding for the characters is fixed. I have yet to see a bug happen. So if I find, well, first of all, I can open up an inventory screen now, and there are now items and descriptions of those items with stats on the left-hand side of the window. And they do work. So if I unequip the iron sword, the attack goes from 8 to 5, and if I re-attack the iron sword, it goes from 5 to 8. A weight gets added that I'm not quite sure if it's working the way that I really want it to. And then if we can find the shopkeeper, which should be this person here, oops, then I can come in and I can buy some randomly generated items. So I'll buy this helmet, and then also I can sell, but my default items for some reason don't have any value. I think I know why, because when the items are procedurally generated, they get their value based on the amount of stats that they have, and since these items weren't generated in that method, then it doesn't work. But, and I'll fix those bugs later. Then I can equip the fine helmet of the moon. I also got to work on this color contrast. Can't really read. Bummer. Oh wait, durability, evasion. Okay, there is no evasion stat for the character, so there's a little bit of a disconnect between what stats I have for the character and the stats that can be put on the weapons. I'm not too concerned about that. I just wanted to get the architecture established. The progress is so fast. Inventory ready. Yeah. Oh, and the pathfinding, it's working. It's fixed. So if I go to night mode, everybody has a bed. Everybody makes it to their respective bed. And yeah, it works. No one gets stuck. And I found out what the problem was. It was that there is this algorithm that does a search through the map to find the most like efficient path from one point to another, called A star, and it was set at too low of a number of tries. And so it would give up if a character was too far away from the destination it was trying to find the path to. So yeah. Oh, I got an applause. Thank you. Yeah. It feels good. I mean, this is like you said, it is going fast. It is a pretty incredible thing to have a major feature like that done in basically an afternoon. Like, seriously. So we're gonna see what happens today with making my battle arena. And I think once the battle arena is done, then that means that I have to check my notes, but I think I have okay, for my minimum product, which will likely be the demo that I would put out to promote the game, I don't necessarily need a fancy overworld map, but the overworld map would be the final big thing. I never showed in a live stream how my first version, my proof of concept overworld map works. I'll probably do that in the future, but it has some issues that I still have to work out, and I may just start over with the process because I learned a lot by doing the proof of concept version. And I think if I just start from the beginning again and kind of rehash the process and work out some of the kinks earlier in the process that I think are kind of like haunting my code right now, then I should have a better version. Plus, I think I figured out another technique. So my overworld map, I want it to be like a very organically shaped maze that you start from one end as you being your hometown, and then the final battle is at the other end of this very maze-like landscape. It won't be obvious that it's a maze because the camera would be so zoomed in on that world that you can only see a small section of it at a time. But I will have, I think it would make sense to have a mini map for this game. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I want to, by the way, as you streaming at 3 o'clock today, as anything, as has a live stream. He usually streams, actually, in my time zone, it's 3 o'clock. So in about an hour. So every day, as anything, streams his vibe coding project. And he is also I believe you mentioned you were a full stack developer. So check him out. He has a different workflow and a different context to his vibe coding techniques. And he's very consistent. Streams every day at the same time. So once you find him, you can figure out when the streams are in your time zone. So let's start brainstorming. I think I am going to actually get some help from ChatGPT. I feel like ChatGPT, no problem. I think ChatGPT is good for just like deep thinking and planning. The only downside is that it doesn't have a very big context window. So Google Gemini, it has the ability to see my entire code base. But I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between Gemini and ChatGPT. I need Gemini to look at my code and know in general what my code base is doing. Give me a summary of certain features so that way I can understand and better organize what is happening, and then like in the code, and then I will take that summary over to ChatGPT and do a little bit of brainstorming with ChatGPT. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to, well, I am in my root directory, so I need to go back to my root directory here. And what I'm ultimately going to do is I'm going to create a subdirectory that is like a sandbox for just the fight arena. But what I'm also going to do is pull from my creature sandbox, which I know it's kind of small, but is I'm pointing to in my code base. Oh, it actually went green here. And I want to pull creatures from that sandbox and put them into the fight arena to test the fighting capabilities of the game. So what I want to do is come down to my consolidate Python script and go ahead and grab all the code and consolidate it into a single file. Then I'm doing this part off screen. We got my directory over here on the side. I'm going to grab that file that was made and drag it into Gemini. All right, so I want Gemini to full stack. Okay, so as anything says, like, yeah, same time every day. Happy to help vibe coders. Yes, for sure. And I'm full stack TypeScript developer. It's all good, man. Don't worry. You're not disrupting me at all. And I appreciate your attendance and more than happy to let you self promote. It's all good. And take your suggestion and make sure that I come to your stream on this account. So, I actually, just since it seems like maybe got your attention for a second there as anything, had a conversation with a developer the other day, like in-person conversation, and they were talking with me about like AI and coding, and I was asking the specific question of how is like AI affecting her workflow. And it was interesting trying to get her to understand what my question was, because at first she was kind of talking about like how it's affecting images and things. I was like, no, you said you're a coder, so how does it affect your workflow and like how you do your job? And she hasn't really been using it, but she's not against it. And she says that a lot of her colleagues have actually been very resistant to using AI for their development. And it would be interesting, and maybe you could respond during your stream as anything, and I join your stream, that there is an interesting conversation that has been kind of being brought to my attention about the creativity of coding. And I feel like I am in a little bit of a minority with my opinion on how coding is creative. And I am in kind of like a bubble. I think I have blinders on in that I don't personally experience the writing of the code and how I write the code as the creativity part of the process. And it's just a personal opinion. I've just never thought of it that way, and I didn't realize that other people thought of the writing of the code as the creative process. I always felt like the creative process was figuring out how to break down the project that I'm working on into like manageable sub problems, and then I thought of it more as a translation into code, not a creative aspect of coding, almost like an art. And she was expressing the writing of the code as having a beauty, or there being an artistic aspect and a creative aspect to the actual writing of the code. And I found that to be very interesting. And so one thing that kind of put our conversation at an end, and not in a negative way, it was just like I not only was she kind of exposing some perspectives that I hadn't actually ever thought of, I exposed something about AI that she hadn't thought of, and it's on my screen right now. It's this little temperature slider. And if anybody who has seen my streams knows, I always slide that temperature to 0. And look at the message that comes on the mouse over. Creativity allowed in the responses. Now, all that being said, this creativity term in this mouse over And creativity that she is talking about might not necessarily be exactly the same kind of creativity, right? However, I did say, because she brought up hallucinations when she used AI for coding, and I said, it's like, well, one thing I do to pretty much get rid of hallucinations is I always slide the temperature dial to 0. And then I kind of threw the punchline out there. It's like, because then the creativity is actually minimized, and I get, like, usually get perfectly written code with no errors. And she was just like, she just felt like that was just such a horribly, like objectively stabbing at the whole point that she was making. It was a very interesting moment. And she wasn't mad at me. She was just like, wait a second, yeah, I can't dispute that if that's true. And it's I feel for people who are, I feel like sympathetic in the idea that people would find a creative outlet in something like coding. I feel like I can get that. I understand why people would think that way. I just never have thought that way about my own coding. I always thought of coding as being a means to an end. It's solving a problem for me. I'm an engineer, and so I typically use coding as a tool to simulate something or answer a question or process some data in a way to do the thing that I feel like is the creative outlet for me, which is the ultimate project. So that was an interesting perspective for me to experience from someone else. Okay, here we go. As anything, I think you can find beauty in the code in the same way that you can find beauty in handwritten words. You know, she said something very similar to that. Yeah, she made a similar point. Okay, so but the result of the code and the result of the handwriting is the real creativity. Okay, so then your second half of your comment is the part that I really resonate with. And so, like say, literary writing versus like a science fiction novel. A lot of people really enjoy literary writing as a genre because the beauty is in the curation of the words and the kind of the poetry of it and the symbolism and alliteration and all kinds of various things. And I'm not a fan of literary writing. I'm much more interested in, say, a science fiction novel. And I feel like the science fiction novel, especially some of my favorites, Project Hail Mary is one of my top favorites right now, and I've read it multiple times. And it's not very flowery. It's not a novel that uses a lot of like literary devices and things. It's just telling you what's happening. It's the character has thoughts and reactions and emotions and motivations. A very character-driven story, not a literary-driven story. And I think that is where my bias and my particular taste it kind of overflows into my point on the coding. And so I did not know, and this is my ignorance that I'm putting out there, I did not know that people thought of coding similar to literary writing. I find that to be a very interesting concept that was just never really brought to my attention, and I never thought of it that way. For programming, prose equals purpose. Oh, prose is less than purpose. It was kind of weird on my screen. Prose is less than purpose. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. I had to kind of like buffer that one for a second and think about what you might mean. I definitely feel like prose is less than purpose in coding. No one will pay you for the way your code looks. Only yes, exactly. Only how. I think you mean only how it works. And that was my point. And so, but I do get resistance from some people, especially computer scientists. That has been my particular experience so far. People who are actual computer scientists that have a bachelor's, master's degree. I have a friend who's a PhD computer scientist. I have a colleague who has a master's in computer science and teaches, and they were much more strong about it matters how the code is written. It matters what the style is. And I understand that the coding style and how it's coded can be important for, say, optimization issues, memory management. Style can also matter for people on your team being able to read your code and everybody's kind of like on the same page as far as how it's supposed to look. So that way there's a consistent understanding of how the code is going to be formatted so everybody can be on the same page. So I get all those points. I find in their situation for it to be very difficult for them to kind of let go of those things in the conversation of using AI for coding, because I feel like in a lot more instances now and a lot more context, those things about coding style and the way it looks don't matter, because the AI can translate the code for you. I think I may have once on a stream been kind of lost in my code that the AI wrote, right? And been like, okay, hey, Gemini, how did you approach this? So I as much as reading the code is still important in my opinion, and you'll also see me in my streams reading the code that the AI has written for me to try and understand how it did it, sometimes I might still be a little confused and I'll have the AI give me a tutorial of the code. So you've got this extra crutch now that can help deal with those kinds of issues. Now, still, when it comes to memory management, code efficiency and things like that, I still think those things are very important in a lot of situations. AI will probably get good enough that those concepts will be automatically done by the AI. However, I still think that a human is going to understand better what their goal is than an AI will. And so knowing what it is that the code is doing and how optimized it is and things like that is still very important for the actual coder, the human coder, to understand. So as anything, I chat about this in my How Pride Can Harsh the Vibe stream. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Yeah, I feel like inadvertently, like you and I are kind of doing the same types of things on our stream where we bring up a topic. I think it was 2 streams ago I was watching and you had a particular topic on that stream. I like that I like that the way that you're doing your streams, having like just a little conversation about something. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be doing that until I get to maybe the more mundane parts of my game development, where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to draw some pixel art, so let me talk about a topic for the day or something while you're watching me draw. But because right now I'm still in the hardcore, like making big sweeping additions to my code. But I think that is a great idea, as anything that you talk about a particular topic in your stream every time. I think that'll resonate well with a lot of people, and I think the world needs to discuss how AI and vibe coding is going to evolve over time and how we're going to integrate it into our lives. Yeah, we're at the frontier. That is the person I talked to yesterday multiple times says like, well, you're an early adopter. I'm like, okay, but I don't have to be an early adopter. That's a relative term. Everybody else should just jump on board, right? And it just seems so objectively useful that I'm surprised that and same with you, as anything, like you said, we're at the frontier. We'll be finding the same topics as we push the new boundaries of Vibeland. Yeah, I agree, and it'll be interesting to see people's differences of opinion about how this tool should be used, and then watch people change their minds over time, including myself. I mean, I'm pretty I know I've changed my minds about how to approach this multiple times as I'm trying to figure it out and I discover what it's capable of. And just to highlight what I think is my motivation here. Of course, of course, I want to make a game, and I want to make a game that would make me money. That is not a thing that I am going to shy away from. I would love for making a video game to pay my bills, for sure. Like, that would be great. I mean, I'm doing this on the side while still having to work a job, and so obviously I'm doing it because I think it's fascinating and I love it. So if it could be something I do all the time, of course, money is a motivator. However, one of the things that really pushed me to try and do this was I felt like making a game I've always wanted to make, and but just never felt like I had quite the skills. And it's not that I couldn't acquire the skills. I'm an engineer. I know I could learn how to code better and make a game. It's the time. It's the time commitment. And now all of a sudden AI has fast forwarded like how much I can produce in a unit of time. And so I felt like this was a great opportunity, and this is the thing. This next thing I say is the motivation that keeps blowing my mind, is that I wanted to keep pushing the boundary of how much the AI could do. Like, how intelligent is this thing, this new technology, and how low level can this thing keep track of what's going on with the code, and what can I ask of it and it still can accomplish the goal? And the technology keeps improving over time as I keep getting better at using it. And it's getting better faster than I can find its limitations, which to me is just like a crazy concept that I've never experienced personally in my lifetime. And so there may be other smarter people out there that can come up with better tasks for it to push it to the boundary, for sure. I know there's like a physicist PhD who's like constantly trying to find physics problems. He's a YouTuber, and I find it fascinating to see what kinds of things he tries to throw at it. And there's all kinds of little problems that people have thrown at the AI that it can't do. I mean, the classic one is how many R's are in the word strawberry. But when it comes to the coding, I just keep trying to be like, can you do this? You can? What? Wow, okay, well that just unlocked a whole bunch of new possibilities. If it can do this, can it do this other advanced thing? Well, it still could. That's amazing. So you're going to see in my streams that I'm going to keep attempting to try something new, and sometimes I do them off stream, and maybe I regret that because I'm like a little embarrassed, or I don't want to be boring and have a 2-hour stream where I didn't accomplish anything. But I think it's actually better for me to show that, like, me discovering these new, well, you said frontier as anything, like yeah, we're at the frontier. I want to keep showing the paving of this frontier. And so and the last thing here is they can't afford not to adopt. I absolutely agree with that. And I have experienced people who just really don't believe it, or they're in extreme denial that statement is incontrovertible. Like there's been a couple people that I would say, like, well, that similar phrase, like you can't afford not to use this tool while everybody else is using it, and they will just silently look at me. And I know that they're processing that statement. And I just don't think there's anything they can say. This is a new technology, just like any new technology. Choose something that we use on a daily basis and imagine what it was like before that. those are the people that got left behind during that technology shift are the people today that are like, no, it can't do that. And I'm like, well, it can. And if you decide to not be one of the people that is going to accept and learn how to use this tool, then there's nothing that anybody can do for you. It's a lead a horse to water situation. So yeah, okay, cool. That was fun. Just kind of having that little philosophical topic thrown out there. So yeah, I'm gonna turn the creativity of the coding down to 0, like I always do. And let's put in my coding rules. However, I don't intend on Gemini writing code just yet. I want to brainstorm a little bit with Gemini. Let's see. So I already have a dungeon, but I'm not too concerned about integrating the fight arena into the dungeon. So for anybody who has played any sort of role-playing games where your character is walking around the screen and either a creature is in the space with your player or it's just completely random, every once in a while you'll just end up in a fight, you'll know that a lot of these games will put you in a different screen for the fight. And I want to do that because I want there to be a bit of a strategy behind the environment and how you fight the creatures. So there will be positions, relative positions, and environmental effects and things. And where you are in the dungeon map is looks like I'm having a bandwidth issue here. Let me check. Hopefully it'll fix itself. As anything, does it seem kind of weird right now? But I'm gonna assume that it's fine and that the stream is still going. But I'm getting a little warning on my YouTube studio here. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, okay. So maybe you guys are seeing a little bit of a buffering. Okay, stream seems fine. Okay, good. All right, thanks for the feedback. All right, so the environment will play a role in the battle. There might be a hole in the floor. There might be rocks to hide behind. There might be things falling from the sky. I haven't really settled exactly on how I want this, but the ideas are flowing, and I'm trying not to let over planning get in the way of just moving forward and making something. But I do want to make a specific screen that is just for the fights, and so to make that screen, I'm going to make a separate sandbox, a separate piece of code like I did for making the creatures and making the dungeon and making the buildings, and keep that compartmentalized, and then the main game will access that sandbox to create the fight arenas based on the features of the environment around the player at the moment that the fight starts. So we're going to start very simple, but I do need Gemini to know actually, maybe I will just have Gemini create the arena first. Let's just do that. And then I think I might have a conversation with ChatGPT. What I'm worried about, what I'm stressing the most about, is the balance of the fighting between the player and the character. And I'll work out the balance. Like I don't want the fight to be too easy or too hard in any particular phases of the game. And I know that comes with playtesting. But I still want to have a little bit of an idea of the architecture of the balance system and how it might work. So I found that ChatGPT was good at helping me with the procedurally generated items in the store as a brainstorming tool. But how about I go ahead and get the arena created first? So here's what I'm imagining. I'm thinking, well, let me get the preface going here for Gemini. I want to create a sandbox for a fight arena like in a classic JRPG game, you could use, let's see, what games like Final Fantasy is a reasonable. You could use Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger as inspiration. And I'm all thumbs. Okay, as inspiration for the idea. Oh, I see. There we go. Okay. And I want a screen that I think what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have tiles that are running down the middle. No, I'm not gonna have any dead zone. So I'll have at least 3 tiles deep for the player and 3 tiles deep for the creatures that I'm fighting. And if you're like right up against each other, you can do melee attacks. If you're like 2 squares back, you can do ranged attacks and melee, like longer melee attacks, like a spear or something like that. Maybe like a tentacle can reach. And then far away is only range, like long range attacks, so like bow and arrows, magic, things like that. And then there could be items, and you can go up and down. So I think what I want to do is, so it'll be a 6 high. That is 6 tiles vertical. And, 6 tiles horizontal. However, I think I'll be like kind of like zooming in on this because I want the arena to be. Actually, I'll just create kind of like an extra boundary around the arena. I'll worry about that later. I already have in, what is it? In the dungeon creation. No, what do I want this to look like? I want the tile system to be the same scale as maybe my creature sandbox. Use the same scale tiles as the creature sandbox for now. Add a wall boundary around the 6 by 6 tile arena. Place the player character in the right hand side of the arena. Let's see, so if it's 3 tiles for the creature, let's put the player character, so it'd be 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so on tile 4, 3 of the 6 by 6 tile area. Allow a creature from the creature generator sandbox to be on the left half side of the arena. place the creature at tile, let's go 1, 3 of the 6 by 6 tile area. How far do I want to take this on the first prompt? I don't think I'm going to add any of the fight menus or anything just yet. I think I just want... Okay, I want to be able to control the creature and the player. For debugging, I want to be able to control the creature and the player for testing the fighting mechanics. This will be a turn-based fighting what's the word I'm looking for? Turn-based fighting style game. Okay. I want to... I'm going to go ahead and ask the AI to make a basic UI. I want to have a basic UI to start with that shows a loading bar that is attached to the speed stat of the creature and the player. And I'll let it come up with its own version of the loading bar. And I'll tweak it from there. And I'm not really too worried about the visuals and the style just yet. There's no need for me to lock that down. So it's gonna look very like synthetic for now. So I want to be able to change the stats in this debugging UI. I want to be able to change the stats of the player and the creature. The stats of concern are the stats already available for the player in the main game. I would like a way to change the stats in real time during playtesting. For example, so I always feel like it's good to give kind of like an example of at least one feature in detail, and hopefully it'll understand what I'm talking about and then spread that feature over to all the other respective things. If I want to change the speed of the creature, I would like to be able to... How should I do this? Should I just have like, kind of like in my inventory window, I can just move a highlighted box to the different stats and maybe just press like plus and minus? Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, I would like to be able to navigate to the... Okay, so if I want to change the speed of the creature, I'd like to navigate to the speed category using the arrow keys, and I can press the plus or minus key to increase or decrease the value. I also would like to have default values, so create a config file that I can set the default values. To be clear, I at least want the hit points, attack, defense, speed to be changeable in real time during the battle. Okay, what else? What else would I want to be able to do? Okay, so then I also want to be able to perform an attack, perform a defense, and perform a change of position. Okay. Some actions that would be allowed during battle would be to attack, defend, and move the character to another tile. I eventually also want to be able to use an item like health potion, but I'm going to keep it simple for now. I feel confident that I can add those in retroactively. The attack, defend, and move the character to another tile. These actions would be available to conduct when the speed, what is it now? It's like when the loading bar based on speed is full. I would also like different actions to use different amounts of the action meter. So we'll call it an action meter. What does it say? So the loading bar. Okay, to conduct when the loading bar. Let's see. I gotta read the whole sentence. These actions would be available to conduct when the loading bar of the action meter based on speed is full. A little wordy, but I think an AI is going to get what I'm saying. I would also like different actions use different amounts of the action meter. For example, a movement would use only, I'll go with 25% for now. 25% of the action meter. An attack would use the entire meter. I'll go defense would use half the meter. I think that would allow some interesting strategy, some tactics with playing. Like if you can see that the enemy is that you're about to finish the loading your bar, your action bar, just before the enemy is going to attack, you go into a defense, and then you are pretty confident that you'll be able to attack before the enemy gets to attack again. So, oh hey, is he has anything? Yeah, I'll have to start your stream. Yeah, thanks for joining me. And if my stream gets done soon enough, I'll come over and say hi. All right, I'll see you later. So, I like this so far. Oh, I would like to be able to choose different creatures from the creature sandbox for fight testing. If I press a number key that is associated with the creature number from the sandbox, I want the creature to appear in the arena in place of the one that was previously there. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to see what happens. I don't want to go too overboard. Let's make sure. Please make a new subdirectory for this fight arena, but plan for the main game to be able to access the arena when needed in my game for the future. Then it will create an architecture for the game that is kind of anticipating that I will be bringing this arena over. And that has worked in the past, where I tell it to kind of like plan for future features. Okay, so that was a good, long, thorough prompt. I mean, I've committed my files already to my Get, so if this ends up being a complete train wreck, it's not a huge deal. Let's see what comes out of this. This might take a minute, and this is kind of like the time that I wish I was doing what like As Anything does, and have some sort of entertainment to do on the side. All right. Hopefully this won't take too long. But this might take a while because I gave it over 160,000 tokens of context. Like, just my code base is 163,000 tokens. So it's having to crunch through a lot right now and process a lot of information. Well, I do have a game, so why don't I just turn on the game? Play around with some stuff. So I think that I'm going to expand on my overworld map a little bit, but my minimum product is going to be one town and one small overworld map, and then the town will either have some sort of a dungeon inside, or there'll be like a dungeon out here like this that I can go into. So this is a maze. I need to make the contrast of my maze graphics a little higher. In fact, I did create last night a pixel art making program that uses color theory to create a color ramp. So I think what I want to do is I want to import my tile set for the dungeon, and then I can make some changes to the tile set and export again. So I can set the color, like kind of like skin tones here a little bit. I wish it didn't go so far into the white, and I might try to tweak this. And then there's grass. It interpreted stone and metal. I kind of want to tweak this. I'm not sure if this is the kind of thing I want for stone and metal. I think I would like to go maybe a little darker or a slightly different hue. Excuse me. And then wood and earth. I somewhat agree with that. Sometimes I have to tweak the hue to try and get different things to match based on their categories. And then I can click this regenerate button, and it'll give slightly different tones. And then there's these wildcard colors. I'm not sure what to do with these yet. I might turn this into one more category. But this will allow me to have a color palette for my graphics that have slightly different moods, but are essentially following the same foundational idea of why the features in the art are drawn the way they are. And then hopefully I can make some procedurally generated things, assets, like especially the player. I want the player character and the NPCs to be procedurally generated in a way that is very interesting and has a lot of variety. But I'm going to have procedural animations, and there will be clothing that can be put on top, and they will all animate according to the animation of the skeleton of the character. I haven't tackled that one yet, so that one is going to be an interesting thing for me to create, and I'll definitely be streaming that process. Okay, so let's see what Gemini came up with. All right, of course, creating a dedicated sandbox for a JRPG-style battle arena is an excellent idea for iterating on combat mechanics. All right, we will build this as a new self-contained project within the solution, ensuring it can be integrated into the game later. Here are a few files and modifications for the Fight Arena sandbox. All right, I'm just going to go with it. So below, building generator sandbox project entry, add a new project definition, Fight Arena sandbox. Okay, so I have a feeling it's giving me so much code that it is not going to give me the entire files for everything. And that's fine. So this might be a little bit more involved of an issue here. Okay, so we got project. Okay, all right. I see where it wants me to paste. So it wants me to add that. Okay. Note, guide for Fight Arena is a placeholder for a unique project guide that visual. Oh, is this a GUI? This is the first time of me seeing GUID. I think that is probably a GUI, not a guide. GUID. I'll have to look that up. In fact, I will. What is a GUID? Okay, we'll see the answer to that later. All right. Okay, so now the C# project, we're going to place below compile, remove building generator sandbox. Okay. Oh, no. That was the wrong spot. That's why I didn't paste well. Here we go. Oh, well, no, apparently that isn't why it didn't paste well, but I'm glad I noticed. Okay, I'm not even sure if the order matters on this. I would be surprised if it did. And then none, remove, fight. Yeah, okay. Stop adding the indent. Anyway, it's okay. And then below project reference, include building generator sandbox. Okay. Of course, you're going to do that. It'd be annoying. All right. Okay, new project. Here are the contents for the new Fight Arena project sandbox directory. So I need to make a new directory. I'm doing this part off screen. I'm just making a new folder in my Windows Explorer here. So Fight Arena sandbox. And you'll see it show up probably right around here once I double check my spelling. Okay, there it is. Fight Arena Sandbox. And then we're going to make a Fight Arena Sandbox project file. Fight Arena Sandbox .cs project. All right. And then arena config.json. So this is all still, yep, okay. Still, I'm in the right directory here. Arena config. Okay, program.cs. What else? This is going to be quite a bit. And then sandbox config.cs. And then arena grid. Input handler. Okay, and then, oh, now we have a new directory, battle. So let me add that in. And now, in battle, action type. I like how compartmentalized all this is. This is good, organized code so far. Okay, participant stats. And then battle participant. And then battle manager. So many files. But I like this. I feel like this is going to make it nicely organized and easy for edits and additions. So this is good. Okay, now we have a UI. And then debug stat editor. Nice. Nice it is. Is making a specific folder just for the UI to be a debug mode. And that should easily translate over that I don't want those menus in the main game. Oh yeah, very happy about this so far. UI controller. Okay. All right, back to the main folder. Here is Sandbox Renderer. And then Sandbox Game. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Usually this is one of the main files here that is always updated last. Yep, I was correct. And how many errors are we going to have ultimately? Okay, yeah, there's a lot of errors. It's okay. So what is a pronounced GUID? Stands for Globally Unified Identifier, or Globally Unique Identifier. Haha. Globally Unique Identifier. Okay, imagine you need to give a unique name or ID number to something, but you can't check with anyone else in the world to see which numbers are already taken. The Global Unique Identifier is a special kind of number designed to solve this problem. It's a 128-bit number so large that if every person on Earth generated trillions of them, the chance of two people ever generating the same one is still practically zero. Think of it as a digital fingerprint. Okay. Why we use it? In our collaboration, I mentioned it in context of a Visual Studio solution file. Solution file is a container that organizes one or more projects. Visual Studio needs a way to tell every single project apart permanently and without any possible confusion. Using the project name Fight Arena Sandbox isn't good enough because you might have another solution somewhere else with a project of the same name. So when you add a new project to a solution, Visual Studio automatically generates a brand new random global unique identifier for it, and the global unique identifier is that project's unique fingerprint within the solution. Databases, Windows operating systems, APIs, distributed system file systems are their usefulness. Interesting that we need it for a game. Cool. Huh, okay. Yeah, I'm not mad. All right, let's try and compile and see what the low-hanging fruit errors are. Okay, so one main error is standing out amongst all the others, and it's possible it's the only thing. It's just a cascade of errors. I got this error. So what is this error? Circular dependency in the target dependency graph involving generate or store project path. Yeah. There's a chance that it's just like one fix to one file and everything works out. I've had it happen before. So like what are the errors here? Yeah, so we got a vector problem. We've got this is just going through. It's like the same thing over and over again. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too stressed about this one. This is probably going to be an easy fix. Fight Arena Sandbox needs about the player and the eye creature classes, so we made it reference the main story. Root here, okay. Solution core library. Best practice to solve this is to extract all the shared fundamental code that both projects need into a central class library. Okay, so we need to go to the story of what is this? Create a new core library project. Interesting how we only just now needed this. I have multiple projects in this. Okay, story of someone dot core. I do not understand what it is that it wants me to do here. We will move the entire core directory from the main project into the story of someone .core project. Okay, so it's giving me a thing here. So what? The new file structure like this. Someone .core. Wow, I do not know what's going on here. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to just try and follow its lead. So I'm only making a new directory called storyofsomeone.core and moving entities. Am I just turning the core folder into... Okay, I need to read this a little bit more closely. You know, a classic and important milestone in software architecture. That error message, there's a circular dependency, is the build system telling us we've created an impossible loop. Okay. The Fight Arena sandbox needs to know about the player and iCreature classes, so we made it reference the main Story of Someone project. Fight Arena sandbox depends on Story of Someone. The main Story of Someone project needs to be able to launch the arena, so we made it reference this Fight Arena sandbox project. Story of Someone depends on Fight Arena sandbox. The build system sees this and says, to build Story of Someone, I first need to build Fight Arena sandbox, but to build Fight Arena sandbox, I first need to build Story of Someone. Okay, all right. I see what you're talking about here. The best practice to solve this is to extract all the shared fundamental code that both projects need into a central class library. I am not against this idea. This library will contain the definitions of things like players, items, creatures, but no actual game logic. Let's perform the refactoring. It will make the entire solution much cleaner and more robust for the future. Create a new core library project. This will create a new project named storyofsomeone.core. Okay, so it seems to me that in the root, I make a folder, the story of someone dot core, which to me is, it seems weird to put dot in a directory name. Okay, and then where is it? Where's the directory? Here we go. Okay, so then I'm going to make a file called the story of someone dot dot core dot cs project. Okay. And then copy this in. All right, move all shared files to the core library. We will move the entire core directory from the main project. Okay, so I'm going to move core into here. I'm doing the, here, I'll show you this. So, and then, oh, that should be everything right there. Just moving the core into the story of someone dot core, and then in core I have entities. Let's double check my folders. Directions, iPlayer, moving validators, item entity, NPC player. Okay, and then items. So equipment slot, inventory, item data, items, player stats. Okay, and then world. So building, location, map, overworld generator, pathfinding, point of danger, tile, town layout, town tile. All right, that seems to be what it wants. All right, step 3, update all project files to reference the core library. Now we update the .cs project files for the main game and the sandboxes to reference this new library correctly. This is what breaks the circular dependency. Okay, all right, so are you giving me the entire file? It looks like it, so appreciate that. That should be pretty easy. And then Fight Arena Sandbox. Where are you? There it is. Okay, and then update this. And then Creature Sandbox. That should be, oh, and then story of someone's solution. Okay. Note, I've used placeholder global unique identifiers for the new projects. Visual Studio will manage these for you. And I don't see... okay, I still see some errors, but a lot fewer. All right. Okay. That was a big improvement. I still have some errors. Let's look at what we have. Sandbox. So player renderer. What else? Yeah, it seems to be more or less maybe one or two things. You've correctly identified the next layer of architectural issues. The errors are happening because our new source o1.core library is trying to reference code in higher level projects, the main game, and the sandboxes, which is not allowed. The core library must be completely self-contained and have no dependencies on other projects in the solution. Okay, so... okay, in the core... in world... excuse me. Building sizes.cs. Ah, okay. We need... oh, building. Nope, building. Oh, wait. This is a new one? First, we'll create new files. Ah, okay. Building sizes.cs. We're making a building sizes.cs. No, come on. You can do it. Okay. And then world time of day. Okay, so making a time of day file. Interesting. Oh no. This looks like this is going to be long. Oh, how many new new files are gonna make? Oh no, this looks like this is gonna be... all right. Town. I'm still in world. Okay. Town definitions. Town definition. Okay. Okay, there's a step 2. All right. Building generator sandbox. Okay, where is the building generator sandbox? It's here. Yeah, I don't think we ever did update this, did we? So... and then back to the world and building. I have a feeling this one's going to be an update, though. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, these don't need to be there anymore. Oh, but got new problems. Building generator. So in generators, it is absolutely amazing that this is working. Hardest part is finding the file. There's generators. Oh, this is so hard. Okay. If it wasn't for version control, I'd be really stressed right now. Okay, and then all the way down to the core. I mean, my code base is getting huge. Okay, entities now. Yikes. NPC. Still a bunch of warnings. All right, game state sound context. This is getting ridiculous. All right, all the way up here. I hope this doesn't end up just being a big snowball, but I'm pretty confident that if I feed it an update, well, I'm gonna keep letting it just kind of roll with how it understands things. Okay, so game states. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna try and collapse some stuff here so I can find things a little easier. Okay, game states. There we go. Town context. Oh no, not town context. Oh, I just know this is such a huge file. This is insane. Okay, and then wait. Story settlement core world over this doesn't exist anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to core world and overworld generator. Boy, we are really changing some stuff. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to troubleshoot or make changes to the arena efficiently after I fix all this. The context window is just going to be like really bogged down with so much detail. Okay, this is the last one. I see so many warnings though. I mean, come on, there's no way that this last update's just gonna propagate through all the code and get rid of all the warnings and all the errors. All right, and I hope this isn't just gonna result in a bunch of cascading problems. Okay, look at all these errors. No. What are you doing? There we go. Got a bunch of new errors. Okay, did not copy. I did not expect this to be this complicated, but if we can get this fixed, I do feel like the new version of the game, the new layout, the new architecture of the code is going to be a better setup. Yeah, making me feel better. They are the natural next step in our architectural refactoring. The compiler is correctly telling us that we've created dependencies that are not allowed. The root cause is the new core library cannot depend on any other project, but some of its files are trying to use the types. Okay. Yeah. All right. So oh no. We're making another this if this works, if this doesn't end up just being seriously, so now we're making I don't like where this is going. I'm gonna keep going because I can just revert. Oh boy. So now we're taking everything and putting it in a graphics. It's like, I don't necessarily hate this. I just hope it doesn't create some sort of new problem that I'm not like aware of. But this is how I learn. I hope I'm not just being gaslighted by the, oh, this is a natural process. Like, don't worry. Uh-oh. I've made a big problem. Let's see if we can fix it. Oh, this also looks like a huge thing. Okay, move player renderer to the new library. All right, where is player renderer? Graphics. Okay, so I'm just moving only player renderer to this new. I'm gonna skip ahead. Am I also doing? No, I'm not doing the tile renderer. Why not? Okay, it's just changing project files. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, okay. Moving player renderer. Don't know why. To the new graphics subdirectory. And then updating the file. Yeah, I definitely don't understand what's going on now. Okay, so now they gotta update the solutions file. I'm just getting this vibe that this is going to end up being a constant. I did something to fix something, and now another thing that was dependent on the thing we moved needs to be changed or moved, and it's just going to be this unending cycle of fixing one thing and creating a new problem. We will see. Building generator sandbox. Hey, something that has... no. Oh, wait, generators. Yes, something that actually... No, it's not something that actually has errors. Okay. Oh, well. No, it did. All right. We cleaned up an error. All right. Are we moving in the right direction? Okay, building types. Where is building types? Oh, there it is. Okay, in generator. Am I going to have to do every single one? This is really incredible that Gemini is capable of this, though. Like, okay. Oh, hey, wait. It's looking a little cleaner. Looking a little better. Okay, building generator sandbox game. Oh, slow down. Made new errors. Okay, UI controller. Checking something real quick. So where my UI controller? I think that, yeah, okay. Now sandbox game. Wait, we already. Oh, I think. Okay, wait. This is Fight Arena Sandbox. So make sure I'm in the right subdirectory. Okay, so sandbox game. Yeah, you got errors. That's fine. Okay, Fight Arena Sandbox. Sandbox game. And then sandbox renderer. Okay. It looks like there's a chance that it is an improvement, if just slight. Okay. Got new errors. Oh, this is a problem that's very common in refactoring. We just have to move this file over here and make a new directory. Oh, no, please don't. Just an unending. Got a few represent architectural changes. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, come on. See, now we're doing world. Wait, I've already done this one. Let's see here. Story of someone. So we already have .core. Do I have, you know what? I think I need to give it my. Oh, I already have a core.world. Okay. Okay, building generator sandbox. And then sandbox game. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Okay, one error now. UI controller. Okay, it's addressing these specific issues. Good. Okay, that error's gone. Will this error go away now? Yes. Okay. All right. Making progress. Yeah, I'm not surprised that you needed. Oh, wait. Where? Oh, yeah, there's building types. Resonance generator. You only did the N, but you didn't do the others. Yep, shop generator. Okay. Not surprised. Oh, look at that. We're getting more errors. We're making it worse. Then tavern generator. Okay. All right. I think that's the errors. We might just only have warnings now. But the warnings scare me because this might be the whole refactoring. Be like, no, we need to make a story of someone. Oh no! Look at this. Oh, this is horrible. Please just be an update to just like a solutions project or sorry, a solutions file or a project file. Oh, this is horrible. This is unbelievably horrible. Yeah. They can't fix this without making me change like 50 files, or we're going to backtrack. This is stupid. Okay, this has got to be based off of one specific thing. Look at this. Things got worse. Bam. All right, let me make sure that this is all from this right. Yeah, okay. This is not the kind of thing I want to see. Oh boy. So my entire lecture at the beginning of the stream about, like, I'm trying to push the boundaries and see how far I can take this. Well, here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see how far we can take this. Let's see if this refactoring, because of this addition to the game code, can be solved. Okay, classic set of issues. Yeah, there looks intimidating, but they fall into two main categories: ambiguous reference and missing using statements, and duplicate assembly attributes. Okay, all right. I'm trusting you. So much more simple. All right, building interior surfaces. Where are you? You are in the services. Okay, so. Really? Like, there's nothing wrong with this file. I don't like it when it makes a change to a file that is not complaining. See, now I got warnings. Okay, building generator sandbox generators. Building types, oh, here we go again. It really just, this is going to clear up all those warnings? Really? Okay. I'm not convinced. Oh, boy. Are you sure you saw all the warnings? I think your context window's getting a little... Okay, well, hold on. All right. What do we got? Is this a shorter list? Not really. Nope, it's still pretty bad. So, what I might try to do, I'm going to give this one more try, because I don't think it's getting worse from this point, but it's not really... I think it's losing track of what's going on here. Okay. Seriously? Wow. Okay, there are more errors. This has been a train wreck. Okay. I'm just going to paste that in. Like, go. Where are the errors? So... I think this is just a compiling problem. So what I may be learning here is, since this whole problem resulted in a dependency on one part of the game, created a dependency on the main game, and then the main game created a dependency on the new part of the game, I may have to approach this from a smaller baby steps, where I can try to avoid creating those dependencies so quickly. This might have just been a biting off more than you can chew kind of problem for the AI. Excellent and detailed error log. No, it's not excellent. It looks like a mess, but the errors are related and point to a single root cause. Okay. All right. Come on. So this is the story of someone, CS project. I mean, I hope I didn't accidentally copy and paste something in the wrong spot. And then it's just created a huge problem. Usually, I've done that before, and it's usually not too big of a deal. Okay, here we go. It's like, you're gonna fix all the other ones too. There's 4 different building types. Yep. You only did the residence on the last round. I don't know why you are picking on these files so much. I have a little bit of suspicion, but come on, be an improvement. Okay, that seemed, did that seem better? Oh boy. No, not really. If it gets rid of the errors, I'm gonna feel like we're making progress. This is a lot of information for it to take in. I'm seriously wondering how much more I'm gonna spend time on this. I may just need to revisit trying to, this is crazy. I wish I understood the problem better so I could give it a little bit of a guide. And I can't really ask ChatGPT to help out because it can't handle the context window of my file base, I don't think. Like maybe O3 might. Oh, it didn't even make it. All right. I mean, if the error list is so big that it can't even fit in the terminal context window. Wait a second. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so if I just control, can I just copy? No. Okay, well, if the whole terminal's full, I'll just give it what I can, but well, it said the warnings are informative but won't stop compilation. What if I just try to? No, because it didn't compile. So there are errors. Yeah. I can't even see the errors. I'm just gonna tell it like, here's what I could copy and paste. I think though, if I just copy all my files and be like, I seem to be having some issues with refactoring, and start a new chat, it might be able to handle giving me a good repair here. Okay, you've encountered a very common, confusing set of errors that happens during major project restructuring. Don't worry, the situation is much better than it looks. Yeah, whatever. Massive wall warnings and errors caused by one single root problem. You keep saying that. Oh, I did forget that I should be just trying to compile the Fight Arena sandbox first. Hold on. Let me see that. Well, okay. Let me see what happens. So I'm trying to make the entire thing work. And I didn't even try. I didn't even try and just get the sandbox working. And then I had to do something similar like this before. Okay, services. That's a good sign. Where is services? Building interior services. Oh. Okay, so I should read the instructions a little more closely here. Step 1. Clean the build artifacts. Before you make any changes, please delete the bin and obj folders from the root directory. Okay. Alright, just straight up delete them. Okay, and then from all sub-project directories. Okay, wow, alright. What? You're not going to let me? Well, there's a way for me to remove all obj files in the terminal as a command. Windows Explorer won't let me delete the obj directory. Is there a terminal command that I can use to delete all the bin and obj directories from the code base? Okay, here's the terminal command to solve this. From the safest to the most forceful. Okay, yeah. .NET clean. Seen this before. hard to tell if it actually worked. No, I mean, it doesn't look like it worked. I mean, it got rid of the bin, but it looks to me like these are still here. Yeah. Okay. This command more aggressive finds all directories named bin or obj and forcibly removes them and their contents. Okay. All right. Let's do that one then. Ooh, that looks like that did something. Yeah, that looks like that worked. Did it work in the subdirectories as well? Yeah. Well, sort of. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, alright. The warnings are gone. Now we're just full of errors. That is a step in the right direction. This is just me just trying to get my main game to still work. Boy. Yes. Okay. Oh. Game states building context no longer needed. Really? Have I been needing to do that like this whole time? Okay. Update the main project file. We need to tell compiler to stop looking for the file we just deleted. Okay. Oh, what happened here? There's a little... Okay, and then game.cs. Oh, we haven't touched this in a long time. Is worldstate.cs? No? Okay. All right. I'm still skeptical. One thing. Okay. Oh, not town context. No, anything but town context. Oh, in the past, town context has been like the bane of my existence, I guess you could say. It was just such a big file. Alright. I'm like running out of things to talk about. Alright, absolutely right. My apologies on the last refactoring step. Okay, so town context. Where is this? This is in game states. I'm still very skeptical that like the game is still gonna work after all this. Okay, there's town context. Yeah, it's over 400 lines. Come on. Okay. No way. Now, does it still work? Oh, wow. That was what a journey. That was such a journey. Okay, let's go. Night mode. Yep, still works. What else do I need to check? Inventory. Okay, that still works. All right. And then let's try and talk to some. So we're in day mode. This guy's a shopkeeper. Okay. Oh, look at that. Greater healing potion. I like that. Okay. Buy. Yeah. Buy. It's so random. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then I can drop stuff. All right. And then can I pick it back up? Yes. But only one of them. All right. The bug will fix later. What else? All right. Well, let's make sure the dungeon still works. Okay. Yep. Yep. Still works. Okay. All right. And then now let's go test out the battle arena finally. I cannot believe that I actually made it through that entire... See? This is what I'm talking about. Like, I just try to give it the opportunity to fix the problem, no matter how big, and it eventually manages to figure it out. All right, let's see what happens when I run this now. Okay. All right. I'm going to... I tried running the fight arena sandbox and got this terminal output, and the game crashed. Let me fix these words. They're kind of like the key words. But making it. Okay, it's great. Error report, very clear. And it points to the single fundamental problem of how sandboxes handle assets. So know where the asset and configuration. Oh, right. Okay. You gonna handle that for me? Okay. Yeah, what do we got here? So yeah, but okay, so you need me to move stuff? Okay, this is a simple problem. I'm going to open up a new chat. We're going to do a consolidation of the entire code base. And I'm going to give it this one issue. This, because it doesn't really need the context of everything I said before now. So throw that in, temperature down to 0, and then coding rules. And then let's try and run this again. Get this error. Help me figure out this issue. Because now Gemini knows where all my files are located, I believe. Yeah, because I supply the JSONs. I supply the structure, the directory tree. So if I scroll all the way back up, oh boy, home button. No, home button doesn't work, huh? Okay. So it's got like the JSONs. It knows my directory tree. It should know how to update the project file to find the necessary JSONs. All right, I'm back. Just had a phone call come in. Let's see if I figured it was going to be the project file again. Let's see if a fresh Gemini chat fixed the issue. No. Very interesting. Do I need to move? Okay, let's read this. Enable the file not being copied. Okay, this happened because of a case mismatch in your CS file. Your project's file structure shows the assets directory is named assets. You know what? I think my consolidation, the capital A, is actually getting the correct file names. Like, I think it needs to grab the PNG. Let's see, if I go to my assets folder, graphics, tile set. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing here, but what is it trying to grab the player sprite sheet? Okay. Let me check the... I don't see it in this file. So it must be trying to grab it from somewhere else. So... Do I need to change? Huh. All right, I'm gonna try one more time. Still failing. Do I need to move any files or rename anything? I'm going to give this one more try, and then I'm going to have to take a break. And I'll come back on the next stream and let you know if I made any progress, or I may just keep trying on the next stream. But one more try. Boy, it's really thinking. Probably should also ask if it didn't need any other information from me, like the names of my PNGs. Of course, it seems that first question wasn't enough. The issue is subtle in relation to how the build system handles file paths. Oh boy. Alright, sandbox game. So we'll update this. Then sandbox project. And hopefully this is it. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to come back later. Try again. Come on. No. No. Did not work. All right. Well, I'm going to come back to this a little later. I'm going to take a break. I'll let the AI rest for a bit as well. That is, of course, a joke. And I'm not giving up on this. This seems to be a fixable issue. I have a feeling there's just some sort of like file or directory naming problem. This is minor compared to what we just overcame earlier. So this should be solvable. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on the next one.